So why did I decide to call this Taoist Tonic Herbal mixture Serenity? Well, with the word serenity, I really wanted to emphasize the dynamic aspect of it. So unlike peace or relaxation or harmony, which often remind you of being passive, I wanted to emphasize that it's really possible to be at peace with yourself while in the midst of action, whilst being dynamic, whilst being enthusiastic, whilst really getting things done. So the Serenity mixture makes available to us a type of energy which is almost unheard of outside of the Taoist tonic herbal system, which is called Shen. Shen is that energy which I choose to call perspective energy. I call it that because it gives you perspective rather than being stuck in the moment, rather than having short-term thinking and being overwhelmed by our current situations. It's like with Shen, we suddenly get a bird's eye view. We see things from a greater distance. We understand that everything that happens for a reason. We understand that what's going on right now, ultimately in 10 years' time, is not that important. And this helps bring us something which is called wisdom. Wisdom would be, in this context, to think long-term rather than short-term, to not do something just for our short-term pleasure, which we know ultimately will make us or other people suffer in the long term. So we do things because we know it's right, and we know that it's right overall rather than just right in the moment. This doesn't mean that we're going to be out of the moment, anything but. We're going to be able to be more in the moment because we have more confidence, we have more certainty that what we're doing is the right thing for us. And I want to emphasize that very importantly. With Shen energy, a person who has a lot of Shen energy, you can tell they do because they have a very strong sense of right and wrong for them. So it's not a matter of them imposing their idea of what's right or wrong on anyone else. It's a matter of them understanding that this is right for me right now, this is wrong for me right now, and that's just the way it is. So a person with a lot of Shen energy doesn't tend to get carried away with emotions. They don't tend to get carried away with thoughts that pop into their head. They don't tend to get carried away with other people's opinions. They tend to be strong and firm and centered in themselves. They tend to be true to themselves. They won't betray themselves. They won't betray what they really care about. And that's an example of someone with a lot of Shen energy. Now this Shen energy relates to the heart. It relates to the whole cardiovascular system. And it also relates to the small intestine. Now, the organ of the heart is very interesting. There's been a lot of scientific discoveries about it recently. For instance, it's been discovered that the heart actually sends more messages to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. So when all these ancient systems of wisdom say that the heart is the seat of consciousness, it's not hyperbole, it's not imagination. The heart is really the part of us that makes the decisions. Now, there are two common things which afflict the heart. Sometimes the heart gets too hot and sometimes the heart gets too cold. In the introduction, I already talked about what happens when the heart gets too hot. That's when this person is really passionate and driven and fiery and enthusiastic and goal-orientated. But unfortunately, it's always go, 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 go. And eventually you get, obviously, from an excess of fire, a hot heart, you get a burnout. A person becomes exhausted and depleted. The most fundamental balance in the body is between the heart and the kidneys. The heart relates to hot, fire, yang. The kidneys relate to cool, yin, water. And what is said is when the heart gets too hot, the kidneys dry up and burn out. And that is where a person gets severely depleted. And no matter how much rest they have, they seem to always be exhausted. On the flip side, the other imbalance that can occur is when the heart gets too cold. When the heart gets too cold, it says that the water, the cold water energy of the kidneys has overwhelmed the heart and put out the fire of the heart. In that case, a person tends to experience a lot of lack of joy in their life, a lack of enthusiasm. They may be depressed, they may feel lonely, they may feel disconnected from the world around them. And in that case, we want to rekindle the fire of the heart. So we either want to cool down the heart and stop it from burning us out, or we want to rekindle the fire of the heart so that we can really experience the joy of life and the joy of connecting with the world around us again. In both instances, we want to stabilize the energy of the heart and we want to restore balance to it and bring energy back to it. And we're going to do this with the Serenity formula. So as you can imagine, the benefits of taking the Serenity formula are amazing. So how do we spot a person with a lot of this heart energy? Well, they have a lot of what modern psychology will call self-esteem. They have a lot of joy, they have a lot of passion, they have a lot of purpose in their lives. They're also able to forgive, they don't harbour resentments. They're kind, they're gentle, they're generous, they're grateful. They're just people who are happy to be alive. One of the other benefits that Serenity formula has is it really helps you to relax more easily. It stops you pushing yourself too hard. It helps you sleep better. A lot of my clients who have problems sleeping or they wake up during the night, I'll give them the Serenity formula and they'll be able to sleep very easily. But Serenity formula, I promise you, will not make you in any way drowsy. It will not make you in any way sleepy unless it's appropriate for you to be asleep. It will just give you that sense of serenity, that sense of peace in the moment, which allows you to be the very best you can be and, more importantly, enjoy it at the same time.